Yo! Hey guys, welcome to the mashup. Today we're hanging out with my friend Michael Ebenall. He is the owner and operator of Forest Moon Fungi. Forager, mycologist, entrepreneur. Really stoked to have him on. So we're gonna get going here as people roll in and do this thing. So hey Mike, how you doing, man?
Hey, good.
Nice.
A little blurry.
Nice. Yeah,
Not sure why. Maybe I'll turn on a light behind me. Maybe.
Yeah, it's all good.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit the mic there, but I think we're good.
Let me see if there's a better area in the house. No, it's still a little bit blurry. I don't know if I can fix that. So.
Oh, you're all right, man. You're all right.
Back to where I was. Can you hear me okay, Brett?
Yeah, I can hear you okay. It's a little bit fuzzy. Is it just
I'm not sure what is going on my end. Maybe I should try to restart it. Might be low bandwidth.
I think you'll be all right, man. Is it do you have it what on the little corner there where it says the microphone? Do you have it all set up?
Let me see here. Oh, there we go. Okay, now. I don't see anything. Oh, settings. Video.
Yeah, you know what, dude? You're all good. I think it'll be fine.
Sorry, what?
I think you're all good. I'm hearing you better now, so it might have just been a bit of a connection thing.
Just give me 1 second.
What's going on, guys? Anyone in the chat here?
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I think it'll be all right.
Okay.
You got me?
It's a little fuzzy on your end. Let me try one or two things here. So we'll set up your cameras. No, that'll work. Can you still see?
Yeah, I think it might just be a little bit on. Let's just go for it, dude. It's all good.
Sorry?
I think we'll be okay. We'll be able to maybe clean it up a little bit afterwards.
Sure. Oh yeah. So thanks for the introduction. I'm own a small business called Forest Moon Fungi, where I cultivate medicinal and gourmet mushrooms. And I first started mushrooms when I was young, actually, and my aunt used to take me out into the forest. And there's a picture of me on my Instagram with my aunt, and sitting on her lap. I'm like maybe 10 years old, and I just have a handful of all these mushrooms, and I didn't know what anyone was at the time. And I thought it was interesting because nobody else knew what mushrooms you could eat, which ones were poisonous, and I was really curious, and especially because not very many people around me at the time in Saskatchewan told me about these mushrooms that I was finding in the forest. So later on in life, I kind of got my interest in mushrooms rekindled again from my wife. She found we were getting into permaculture, growing our own food. We had a small farm out in Westfield for a little bit, and
cool.
she found a course online in, I think it was Vancouver, and Danielle Stevens, who's a really smart lady, she put that on, and that was the first kind of thing I went to, and she was cultivating. She was showing us like hands-on how to cultivate mushrooms on logs. Can you still
Wow.
hear me? Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm good, man.
Okay, good. So I was pretty interested in it, and it seemed like something I would like to do. And I thought it would just be really cool to have like reishi mushrooms or lion's mane popping off on logs, right? So I
Yeah.
was getting into it, and then my wife remembered that Danielle, she also did it first, and my wife Julia remembered that the Danielle Stevens had actually learned from another guy in Oregon called Jay Schindler, who he's from Fungi for the People out in outside of Eugene, Oregon.
Oh,
So
cool.
so she kind of pushed me to like, here, like you can, if you want to go learn, like you can take a week and I'll be fine at home with kids and go learn about some more mushrooms. And I was like, all right, sure, let me do this. And I went to a 6-day mushroom culture course in Eugene, Oregon, and that was the course that just blew my mind open. Like there were people from all over the world going at this course, and I just was so overwhelmed with the information, like what people were doing, not only just growing them on waste streams, and having really low input costs because you're getting like sawdust and stuff for spent coffee grounds for free, and you're growing like Korean medicinal food on it. I just thought it was such an awesome concept. And then they were talking about like microremediation, and I was like, no idea people were using fungi to clean water, to filter E. coli in water, among many other pathogens, and also break complex hydrocarbons and just the stuff that people were doing, just so blown away. So I signed up again to go back for a course specifically on microremediation. But after this course, I started around more with different methods of cultivating mushrooms. And then there was one night when I was up. I started doing my lab work at like 9 p.m. or something after all my house tours were done. I was doing lab work until like 2 in the morning, and I had to go to work the next day as an electrician at the sawmill. And I woke up in the morning having like hardly any sleep. I went to work and I was just buzzing the whole day. I was like so stoked on what I did last night. It didn't matter. I didn't have a lot of sleep, and I was like, look, if I'm like can do this like until it's early in the morning, get a little sleep, I was like, I know that this is something that I want to keep doing. This is great. So I started.
Amazing.
I went to another guy's course shortly before in Summerland, Mariah Callow's course on what the fun was, and I
Oh,
took
yeah.
his course, and that really helped me um, uh, get a better what like this aspect what I wanted to do would be. In Eugene, Oregon is more like Jay was really focused on like experimentation and really the lab work and hands-on work and the mixing and all that. And then Brian's course, he was really good at explaining like the business side of it and how you need cash flow and the different things you can do to like get your name. He's really good at that. So he's a really good entrepreneur in that way. So learning from two
Cool.
different, very different teachers helped me a lot. And so yeah, I decided to start my own small business, and we're in Merritt, and we have 14 acres, and we have animals, and we're digging holes and doing permaculture, raised beds, trying to grow as much food as we can, and also mushrooms. And I started giving mushroom talks as well. So I would go to like the Permaculture Society in Kamloops, or uh, NBIT in Merritt. It's like the college. They got hold of me and wanted me to do some talks just about like the basics of like life cycle and some big stuff about like the where they come from, what they are, what the different types, and yeah, I started getting into foraging as well, just going out in the woods and finding mushrooms, cloning some. So bringing back like the best strain of oyster mushroom that I grow is a oyster mushroom that I cloned on a cottonwood tree near it. So I really like going out and just learning about mushrooms and getting. And there's a lot of interest in people just wanting to get together. Like they have a group of people, like the Shanghai UBC, and they had a group of like 10 people, and we met up and took on the course, and we started identifying things, and there was a lot that we didn't know what it was. But they started like learning like one mushroom at a time, right? And that's where everybody starts. It seems overwhelming, but you really get one species down, so you know like where it grows, what time of year you can expect it. Looking at all the macro features, like smell even too is a big part of mushroom identification. There's some mushrooms that look very similar, but they're differentiated through smell. So yeah.
Cool. I didn't realize that smell was a key feature in foraging. That's interesting, because most mushrooms don't have that much of a. Well, I guess that's not true. They do have a pretty strong scent, especially once you get into the more earthy ones.
Even the taste too. There's so you can touch any mushroom and it's not going to hurt you. Even the most deadly poisonous mushroom that we know of, the death cap mushroom, or as the scientific name is Amanita phalloides, and touch that mushroom and it won't harm you. But if you eat it, you can get like serious liver and kidney failure. But like anything, you don't eat stuff that you don't know what it is, right? If there's plants that will kill you by eating them, there's plants that will hurt you by touching them, right? Like poison ivy, stinging nettle, devil's club. But there's no mushroom that will hurt you by touching it. So I think, like in the West, as a Western society, we kind of have this national fear about mushrooms, and there's this big, like, mycophobic type of culture that we've grown up. It's changing now, which is really good because mushrooms are so awesome, and we need to be learning more about them and getting connected with more. I think they help us out in so many different ways through our health, like our body, our brain. Like they help so many different parts of your body, and they do so many good things too in nature. Like some are living in symbiosis with trees and plants, and these plants and trees do better in the forest because of this relationship with them, certain types of mycorrhizal mushrooms, which are feeding them nutrients and moisture. And most importantly, phosphorus is the mineral that mushrooms are able to inject right into the roots of the plants, and in exchange, these mushrooms are getting carbon and sugar. So when you go into a forest and there's a lot of mushrooms around, it's a sign of a really healthy forest.
Wow. So cool. So they're actually removing the toxins from the soil, allowing the plants to take in all the good nutrients.
Well, yeah, the mushroom is able to do stuff that the trees can't easily do on their own. So like get this phosphorus from the ground, get it like organic, like an organic phosphorus through the soil. Like phosphorus is, we put it on our garden beds and stuff as a fertilizer. But phosphorus has this really weird thing it does where it will bond with heavy metals really easily, like really rapidly. And to remove those from the phosphorus bond is really difficult for us, but mushrooms have a way to do it. And so some of the best fertilizer, it's actually not like taking nitrogen and phosphorus and putting it on your garden beds and trees and plants. In some cases, it's just having the mushrooms around because they're doing that. And when you buy phosphorus, like it's mined mostly in Florida from like the Everglades, I think, and it's a pretty harmful practice, and kind of like farming the peat moss where they do that in the Everglades. It takes like 1,000 years to regenerate peat moss. So people have been moving more towards like coconut husks fiber as a kind of it's very similar to peat moss, but with phosphorus. Um, when you get it mined and it drops around and it goes in a bag, goes on a train, it makes its way to your grocery store or your market that you buy it at, and then you apply it in your soil. But you know, it bonds so easily to heavy metals and stuff. So if there's any heavy metals on there, then you just need to keep applying more and more and more, and you don't really get that same effect. It's kind of like so much is a really cool thing there. They're like
Cool.
chemists, yes.
Yeah, okay, that makes a lot more sense. I didn't realize that. So they're actually helping break it down, so then they can take that. The trees can take that in.
It's kind of glitchy on your end. I'm glad you guys can hear me.
Yeah, no, it's been pretty bad on your end as well. I don't know if it's
Last time we did the Zoom call, it wasn't like it seemed like my camera, like I was seeing myself a lot clearer, and also the microphone was a lot better. Did you notice that?
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know what's going on. Do you have like a AirPods or anything like that to connect like any wireless headphones with the microphone?
Yeah, if I might have some like earbuds I could like pop in. Be better.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a bad connection. It could be. Like we could exit you out and I could get you back on after, and we could try that if you want.
I was thinking, yeah, just of logging out again and logging back in.
Okay, let's give that a go.
You guys were able to hear me clearly. I was talking.
No, it's pretty patchy. I can make it out, but it's quite fuzzy.
Okay, maybe I'll try to log off, and then I'll click that link again that you sent me.
Okay,
and that might do it.
Cool.
Is that cool? Or?
Yeah, give it a go.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna sign off here and try to reconnect, and maybe it'll be better.
Sounds good. All right, guys, going to keep this rolling. This is 2 weeks in a row with technical difficulties. So I'm going to get Mike, while he's getting his audio sorted, I'm going to get his website up here. So this is their farm out in Merritt. I have been out there once. It's a beautiful spot. Oh, here he is.
Oh, I can hear you actually, I think, a little bit better.
Yeah, seems a bit clearer.
Ooh, no, actually, it's the exact same, pretty much. Well.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, I'm wondering if it's maybe your connection, man, or potentially the microphone on the computer or something like that. I got the Yeti mic plugged in here, so I should be all good. But you're hearing me fuzzy too, hey?
I can hear you. Okay, it's still kind of glitchy. I really would like to figure this out here. Maybe I'll see if I can go find some. Maybe that might.
Okay. Yeah, give it a go. I'm just gonna go through your website here while we get ourselves together.
There's quite a bit of lag from when you start talking, and then I hear you speak.
I think it might be the connection. How's the internet out there?
Sorry.
I think it might be the connection potentially. Do you have is the Wi-Fi okay?
I can't really hear it. Didn't really hear what you got.
Oh shit. Okay. All right, man. Well, damn it. This is the second week in a row we've had technical issues. Yeah, well, I think it might be the Wi-Fi, your connection there.
The internet connection, my internet looks okay. Um, Let me just try. Maybe I'll leave my computer. Try that.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right.
Oh yeah, the internet it might be slow right now. There's a bit of wind, but I'm not sure if that's
Yeah.
affecting it. I'm just gonna try to reboot and come on again.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, all you can do is laugh, right? So while he's gone, we'll see if he comes back. I think he's got some pretty shitty internet though. But yeah, this is the farm. We at Mindful get some mushrooms from Forest Moon. In the past, we're not getting any right now, but yeah, he grows some amazing stuff, and he's built this beautiful farm out there. A lot of their own gourmet live mushrooms, which is really cool. Lion's mane can be really fun to do in like tacos or my buddy, another mushroom grower, he actually does imitation instead of crab meat. He does that. So do like a California roll with lion's mane or anything like a crab cake, but a lion's mane cake apparently is just amazing. So that's something to try. I haven't tried that yet. I'm going to give that a go. And yeah, you can see all the different, you got some great pictures here too. How, then you have your myceliated grain inside the bag there, and then the spores, what happens is the fruiting body starts to grow out. They have little slits there, and then the mycelium is all through that grain, which there's some studies that have shown that it can be quite healthy as well. I know Stamets mixes that in with his products, and he's done a study on he tests all the myceliated grain as well, and he says that it has similar nutrient profile, but a little bit slightly different. So he says together they're more powerful. So there's not enough human trials as of yet to see that, but something to consider when you're looking for your mushrooms. What are they putting in there? Do you want just the fruiting body? Do you want the blend of the myceliated grain and the fruiting body? Do they have their numbers? Are you able to see your beta D and B and D glucans is what you're looking for mainly there. Let's see, Mikey boy. Hey.
That seems a bit better.
It's a bit better. We'll roll with it. We got about 20 minutes here.
Okay, cool. Yeah, a little bit glitchy, but I started checking out right there.
Yeah, we were just checking out the website. It's a great site and beautiful photo of the farm there.
Yeah, so you know the interesting thing about that website. I should have some more mushroom grow bags here pretty soon.
Cool.
Started another batch. And also if anybody wants a type of mushroom that they don't see on my website, like reishi spawn or turkey tail, I can get that going too. So, and I would do special requests for anything that people are interested in if they just call me or send me an email.
Cool.
But with that website, oh, that's my son there, Sylvan.
That's awesome. What a great photo.
Oh, there's my.
So do you guys go and do this forage every Saturday or?
Yeah, that one is done. We did that one, and I do one every spring.
Spring
I've been doing them more and more every year. One year, the elementary school got a hold of me, and they were wondering if I would be willing to take. I think it was a grade 4, 5, and 6 on forage, and it did, and it turned out really well. What's cool about like little kids and foraging is that they're so low to the ground. They have a different perspective, and they some of them just have like eyes like hawks, and they just see stuff that you wouldn't really look twice at, but their minds are a little bit more curious. So kids are great to take on mushroom walks, and I take my kids often. Sometimes just as a like a homeschooling, 'cause we're homeschooling our kids, so we have
Yeah.
time to do all kinds of stuff outside and go where we want. If we just want to take a day to just go off into the forest, and I've really drilled it into my kids not to eat any mushroom unless they show me what it is, and they know not to eat any mushroom that's not cooked. And I think cooking all your mushrooms is a good thing to do. First of all, because mushrooms contain a substance called chitin, in the CHITIN, in their cell walls, and it's have an enzyme in our stomach to break it down. But if you heat the mushrooms, the heat will break down the chitin and make it easier to digest. It's kind of like eating snow, right? When you could drink water. So
Yeah.
and but another thing too, why to cook all mushrooms, and this should never happen because you never eat anything that you don't know what it is. But there's some mushrooms that contain they actually contain toxins that that will break down heat. So some deadly poisonous mushrooms like Gyromitra esculenta, which kind of looks like a brain mushroom. That mushroom, those Gyromitra compounds, will, if you boil those mushrooms in water, they'll evaporate off, and then you can cook them and actually eat them. But I
Oh, wow.
don't really think it's a good idea to on with that. I mean, unless you feel really comfortable with what you're doing. And in Scandinavia, they actually they sell those mushrooms with instructions on how to prepare them properly.
Oh, wow.
So
Is the
yeah,
flavor that
it's good to
good?
cook all your mushrooms. Sorry.
Is the flavor that good?
Um, I don't know if it's good. It's probably tasty, but I just don't like the idea of having deadly poisonous substances in my kitchen. Uh,
That's probably a good smart
so
idea.
so anyways, with this website, so what happened was I had a guy from Shopify get a hold of me, and he wanted to buy some mushroom plugs for his logs. He wanted to do mushroom logs in Victoria. So I whipped
Okay.
him up some shiitake dowels for him to inoculate his logs. And he was just really happy with what I did and thought it was really cool what I was doing, and asked me if I needed, like any help with anything. And he specializes in website design. And at that time, I had a site with WordPress, and
Oh,
I wanted to do something a bit better. And I knew about Shopify, and he works there. And I was like, well, yeah, like if you could if you could help me make a better website, then, I'll hook you up with some more mushroom spawn or whatever. He's like, all right, deal. And then
great.
his wife actually works for Shopify too, and she just designed my logo for me. So I kind of gave him some prototypes of kind of what I was looking for, and then they did one, and I liked it. They actually did a bunch of them, and I picked one I liked. So these guys
Cool.
hooked me up with
That's
a
this one here.
website, and they put me on their family plan too. So I pay something like, it's like $12 US a year for the Shopify site. Ridiculous. I got a ridiculous deal on it. So I'm gonna keep this thing for as long as I can.
Oh, it looks great, man. And they did a really good job. Nice and professional. Yeah, that's interesting about the kids. I never thought about that, but kids would be little mushroom finders, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
That's
and it's good to get them out and exploring, learning their environment at an early age. It'll sink in more when you learn stuff when you're younger. Um, but yeah, like my son, he knows, I think, a handful of edible species that he can identify really easily. Like morels are really easy for him to identify. He knows like Amanita muscaria, and he knows not to eat that one, and he knows oyster mushrooms and a bunch of different ones, we see out there. But,
cool. So
and what's cool
when
too is that I'm really excited about it too, and they can tell I really like mushrooms. So I'll be out working in the yard or doing something at home, and they'll just bring me these mushrooms that they found. I'm like, Papa, Papa, look at these mushrooms! Look at how cool these are! And I'm always excited to see what mushrooms they bring me and try to identify what it is.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what a great way to school your kids in a bit of a different fashion and get them to know the forest, and like the mycelium is such an integral part, like you were saying, and it's such a great way to get an understanding of how the forest works and how that all grows and flows, and then to be able to pick something and bring it home and cook it, and that whole process is pretty neat.
Yeah, and I like I like the fact that my kids are having a connection too with nature. It's really healthy, and
Yeah,
it's just there's so much more like it's like such a difference when let's just say they're inside watching a movie eating like sugar, right? Then they're all wired up and misbehaving and being rude. But when I take them out of the forest for an hour and we're walking around, getting fresh air, looking at stuff, seeing chipmunks and weird little plants and mushrooms and stuff, and they're just in such a more like just a better frame of mind. And then it's a lot easier for to sit them down and do like schoolwork, like their
yeah.
um, their math and their reading comprehension. They're able to focus more because they just got out in the forest and ran around a bunch, right?
Yeah, no, it's such a great thing, and I think it's something in our system right now that keeps coming up. I keep hearing about, and to have that ability and that, like you say, that connection with nature, and then to learn, it's such an easier way to process information, and develop these young star children.
Yeah, yeah, they're pretty special, man. It's pretty cool.
Sweet, dude, that's awesome.
It's a lot of work, but it makes you a better person, I think, raising kids. And I used it's funny, I used to think like I was a really patient person, like I was really patient, but then I realized not as patient as I thought. Oh man.
I just did a Instagram live podcast thingy with my friend Emily, and she was talking about microdosing and how it helped her with parenting and stepping out into things that connecting with her kids a little bit deeper, and it was pretty fascinating.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, and I know
Yeah,
what. Oh, go
go
for it.
on. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, so when you're talking about the Emily microdosing around her family, that made me think of the story of Amanita muscaria and how Amanita muscaria, right? The
I
mushroom with
do.
the white stem, the red cap with the white dots, a beautiful looking mushroom. Uh, and it's got muscimol and ibotenic acid in it. It does not have this deadly amatoxins as in some of the other amanitas. So this
Right.
mushroom, you can actually boil it in water for like a long time to evaporate some of the ibotenic acid, and then take them and dry them or cook them and eat the mushroom, and you get the muscimol in the mushroom, which is a lot different trip than psilocybe. I've never done an Amanita muscaria trip, but I've heard it's more like a kind of like a darker, even like intoxicated type feeling. And like if you can actually do some sleeping too, it seems to knock people out. They just pass out and go into deep sleep. So if
Wow.
you're having trouble sleeping, that I don't know, that might be something worthwhile investigating. But what they
Oh, that's an
used to
interesting
do,
thought.
the shamans in Russia. Do you know the story that I'm talking about? You heard this
Oh
one?
yeah, totally, totally. I don't know the story though. I know the mushroom, but yeah. So continue. I'd love
Okay,
to hear it.
okay. So it's got a fascinating folklore. This mushroom. So what the Siberian shaman used to do, maybe in parts of Russia, Siberia, and Poland, they might still do this, but I know that like hundreds of years ago, like the medicine man of the community or the shaman, he would go around in the autumn, late summer, early autumn, and he would pick Amanita muscarius, right? And he would put them on a pine tree on the pine boughs, and he just put all these mushrooms on one pine, and that helped dry the mushrooms out, and it also helped him know where he was. So it provided a central location that he could forage around and not get lost. So he's got all these Amanita muscarias in the pine tree, right, hanging on the pine boughs, drying them out, and then
Yeah.
yeah, and then he would put them in a sack, put him on his caribou or reindeer would be pulling his sled, and he'd go back. And then in the winter time, he would go from to door to door in the community, bartering his Amanita muscarias because the people loved these mushrooms. So he'd go and barter with people. So he's got his caribou pulling his sled or reindeer with his big sack of these red and white Amanita muscarias that are dried. And if the primary entrance to the dwelling was snowed over, which was common because we're in Siberia and there's snow everywhere, he would go in through the secondary entrance. Usually it would be like a yurt, right? These people lived in yurts. So he'd go in through the chimney hole in the yurt with this big bag of red and white amanitas, and he'd barter them with the families, and then he'd be on his way. So that's kind of like a tie-in to like Santa Claus, or where he came from. And it was kind of weird. I never understood the connection between Santa Claus coming around like when Jesus Christ is celebrated. It's like what's going on here? I never really understood that, but would actually trip out on this mushroom, like they'd ingest it and I don't know, have some sort of ceremony or relax or I don't know benefit they did. But I was just think of Emily, like kind of microdose like family, like yeah, hundreds of years ago people did it way more intense than that. So
amazing.
I'd like to find somebody who knew about like what I'm sure there's books on it out there. I just know a little bit of the stories from talking to other mushroom heads and mushroom cultivators and stuff like that.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. That's an awesome story. Perfect timing too, as we're coming.
You know,
into
like
the
just think of Santa Claus, right? Like what we think of him, this guy in a red and white suit. He's flying in the sky with these reindeer pulling him in the sky, like like he's on a trip or something. And
well, I think there's the mushrooms are as we're learning, they've been a huge part of our evolution. So it wouldn't surprise me if they got some Santa Claus like colors. That's for sure.
I didn't hear too much of that.
Okay. All right, man. Well, I think let's wrap it up there because where the metaverse seems to be not wanting us today. So we'll see if we can hopefully clean this up as best we can. It's been awesome to have you, brother, and we'll have to do it again here soon because so much more to talk about. I'd love to dive into some more of the mushrooms that you grow and everything else, but we'll have to get a better connection next time.
Sure, sounds good. I think that's a good segue to another talk. I'd gladly come on again.
Thanks, man. Well, I will tag your website in the description here and everything else. So go check them out at Forest Moon. Anyone watching, you got the Goo 15% off at Mindful. And we'll catch you guys next week.
Okay, ciao.
Peace.